The first thing that you need to do is to be what I call uber organized. You need to be someone who has all of the resources that your social media team needs available and ready for them. You need to communicate with them. And let's take a look at some of the things that that entails. The first thing that you need to be able to do is to provide resources to your social media team. They need your content. And you may not think that you have any content, but you, believe it or not, you do. You've got a lot of content, and the first thing that your social media team is going to need is to know what content you have, and you need to make it available to them. It could be written content in the form of an article. It could be a white paper. It could be a summary brief that you've written. It could be a magazine article that you've been featured in. You need to give your social media team content to work with. And so one of the first things that you'll be doing is giving them written content. It also could be audio content. It could be an MP3. It could be an interview that's been done with you. You just want to give them some content that they can work with in talking about your brand in social media. You need to have images. Social media and online marketing is a visual medium. And so you need to have images. You know, it'd be nice if you have an image of your Porsche, but it doesn't have to be a Porsche. It could be the headshots of your staff. It could be product and service images. It could be inspirational images. Inspirational things on social media, and the images that you see get a lot of engagement. And so you need to be able to provide images to your social media team. And I'll give you an example of somebody who does this really well. Molly McGrory is a RE/MAX broker who I profiled a couple of months ago as someone who was using social media, and she made $100,000 just off of her Facebook listings. And that's her own listings. That's not her real estate agent listings. And one of the ways that she uses social media is she's constantly taking photos with her smartphone of the different properties that she's listing, events that she's at, but she also has headshots of her brokers. And one of the things that she does is she posts their image on social media and congratulates them on milestones, on their anniversary, on their birthdays, things like that. And that really creates a personal human touch in an online atmosphere. And the first thing that you need to be able to do in order to create that kind of culture is to have those images. And then the third thing, if you have it, to give to your team is multimedia. It could be a PowerPoint presentation. It could be a video. Any kind of multimedia that you have, your social media team will need that. And you need to make sure that they get that as soon as you start so that you can both be as successful as possible. You need to communicate well with your team and communicate in advance. You need to let your social media firm know what scheduling you have coming up. What's on your calendar? What do you have coming up? Do you have a big event that you're going to? Are you going to a conference? Are you coming into your busy season? For real estate, this is the busy season. For a tax prep firm, not so much. They've just passed their busy season. But you need to let your social media outsource team know what is coming up and give them time to prepare for that. If you're telling them, oh yeah, I'm going to have a big flash sale this week and I need you to post about it, well, they'll be able to do a little bit, but you're not going to be able to be nearly as successful as you could be if you had really prepared well a good month ahead of time. So you need to communicate with your team about what's going on. You also need to decide whether or not you want to approve the posts that are being done on your behalf. I've encountered firms that do both. Some clients want to approve everything. Other clients couldn't care less. They trust you, And so I think a good blend of that is to approve all of the social media postings that your team does for you for about a month until you get a good feel for each other. And then after that, you probably don't need to do that. You can just review them and provide feedback. You also need to start with your outsource team an editorial calendar. And this sounds very complicated, but it's really not. Simply what you're doing is letting your team know the seasonality of your business. Every business has seasons where things are going on and where they're busy, where they're not so busy, where certain things are on their client's mind. And I'll give you an example of this and why it's important. I have many clients here at Social Media Online Classes who are accountants. Now, if you're talking about tax prep in January, February, and March, it's very topical. If you're talking about tax prep in May, you're really not going to get a lot of attention or engagement from people. Now, if you can put, a slant on it like, is your summer vacation tax deductible? Yes, that's something that your social media team might be able to make successful. But you've got to let your team know what's on your clients' minds during the year. For example, if you're talking about Christmas in March, not too many people are going to be focused on that. You also need to let your team know when your busy times are and when your slow times are. Because if you're looking at measuring your social media team on the amount of engagement that you're getting during a really slow season for your brand, your expectations may not be reasonable. I can tell you for Social Media Online Classes, we're entering our slow season. And so I know that to expect lower engagement levels, lower reach, basically lower across the board. But I'll be sharing with you later on in the webinar the things that we do to kind of boost that engagement and some things that you can be doing with your team as well. And then once your team knows what your seasonality is, what's on the minds of your clients, you can put together an editorial calendar with the topics that you will be focusing on for that month and for that week. Now, this is something that the outsource team will do, but they need that communication from you to know your business and to understand it as best they can. Now, we here at Social Media Online Classes are debuting our social media services this month. This is something that's brand new for us. Our clients have been asking us for this for years. And we are finally saying, yes, we would be happy to help you with not only your social media marketing, but also your email marketing and your search engine optimization. And so if that is something that you might be interested in, feel free to take a look here at, you can click on this link, socialmediaonlineclasses.com at Social Media Services. It's also available from the main menu and on our pricing and plans page.